Some people say that homemade chocolate cake is unbeatable. Other people say, why do all that work when the grocery store has already done it for you? Today, we're settling that debate once and for all. One cake was made from scratch with natural ingredients. The other one was purchased with nothing but a shopping cart and a lack of self-control. So let's find out if homemade chocolate cake is worth all the trouble and dirty dishes. This is homemade versus store-bought, chocolate cake edition. Hi, I'm Curtis, and on this channel, we take homemade versions of popular desserts and put them up against their professional counterparts to see which one comes out on top. On today's episode, we're putting the Fresh Market Towering Double Chocolate Cake up against one that I will make from scratch. And we will find out which one deserves a spot at your next work party, family gathering, or just a Tuesday night when life has been a little too lifey. As always, we'll score both of these cakes in 4 categories with a score between 1 and 5. Appearance, texture, taste, and cost. So grab a slice, keep score yourself, and at the end, we'll compare the scores to see where you came out. Now, a brief history. Before we eat way too much sugar, here's a quick history lesson. Believe it or not, chocolate cake wasn't always a thing. For centuries, chocolate was only enjoyed as a drink. It wasn't until the mid-1800s when cocoa powder became widely available. This is when bakers started putting it in everything, including cake. Fast forward to today, chocolate cake has become one of the favorite desserts worldwide. Chocolate cake can be found everywhere: birthday parties, work parties, and church gatherings. If people need an excuse to eat dessert, chocolate cake is usually invited.
It's your landlord!
Now, it's time to see if homemade still rules the cake world, or if Fresh Market has quietly been plotting its takeover. Let's head to the kitchen and find out. So here we are back in the kitchen. Today we're going to work on this double chocolate cake. And as usual, we have all our ingredients for the cake here and the buttercream icing here. We're going to mix all these together, get them in the oven, and then we'll get in there and try them and see how they turn out against the Fresh Market one. So the only thing left to do now is to get started. Chocolate cake evolved from ancient Mesoamerican chocolate beverages to a beloved dessert in Europe and the United States, with key innovations in chocolate processing enabling its widespread popularity. The story of chocolate cake begins with ancient Mesoamerican civilizations, including the Olmecs, Mayans, and Aztecs, who cultivated cacao trees and prepared a bitter spiced chocolate drink as early as 1900 to 1500 BC. This beverage was considered sacred, consumed by elites, and often used in religious ceremonies. When Spanish conquistadors arrived in the 16th century, they brought cacao to Europe, where sugar, honey, and spices were added to make it more palatable, establishing chocolate as a luxury ingredient. Chocolate was first incorporated into cakes in the 17th and 18th centuries. In 1764, Dr. James Baker in the United States discovered how to grind cocoa beans into a chocolate paste, which was initially poured into molds, shaped like cakes intended for beverages. Alright guys, we've got our cakes ready to go in the oven. I will say that this batter is very runny. It seemed like a normal batter until I poured the coffee in it, and then it thinned out. But then I was reading the recipe a little closer, and it did state that the batter will be runny. So the only thing to do now is stick it in a 350 oven for 35 minutes. We're going to start checking it around the 28-minute mark, and when a toothpick comes out clean, it'll be done. I'm also going to use cake strips on this because one thing that I have been having a challenge with is the edge is getting overdone. I think my pans are a little bit thin, and I will be purchasing some better pans in the future. But for now, we're gonna get this in the oven. I'm gonna put it on a sheet pan and have cake strips on it, and then we'll check it at 28 minutes. By the late 18th century, chocolate began appearing in European baking, particularly in Spain, England, and Germany. In the meantime, while we're waiting for the cake to cook, I'm gonna go ahead and make this chocolate buttercream icing. I got all my ingredients here. We're gonna mix it up and see how it turns out. Early recipes often used chopped chocolate, sugar, butter, flour, and eggs, evolving over time to include cocoa powder and leavening agents. Significant technological advances transformed chocolate cake in 1828. Conrad van Houten developed the method to extract cocoa butter and produce defatted cocoa powder, making chocolate more affordable and easier to bake with. In 1879, Rodolphe Lindt invented the conching process. All right, guys, the cake is out of the oven. It's got this little kind of crust in the center. Not really sure what that's all about, but the cake seems to have come out really nice and moist, and it's pulling away from the sides. I'm gonna let this thing cool for probably an hour, and I've already got the frosting made over there. Once that cools off enough, then I'll put it together, and then we'll get in there and test it up against the Fresh Market one. So I'll see you in just a little bit. Producing smoother chocolate that blended seamlessly into cake batters. This innovation allowed chocolate to move from fillings and glazes to being a primary ingredient in a cake batter. The first American chocolate cake recipe appeared in the mid-19th century, with Eliza Leslie publishing a recipe in 1847. By 1886, chocolate was being added directly to cake batter, creating the first true chocolate cakes in the U.S. The 20th century saw the commercialization of chocolate cake mixes. The Duff Company introduced Devil's Food mixes in the 1930s, followed by Pillsbury in 1948 and Duncan Hines' Three-Star Surprise in 1951. Well, there you have it, folks. That is my double chocolate cake. We're going to put it in the refrigerator for a little bit, let it set up real good, then we'll cut a slice, and we'll get in there and try it up against the Fresh Market one. So let's get it in the refrigerator, get this piece sliced, and then let's go check out and see who wins. But first, check out this reveal. The verdict. So here we are with our two double chocolate cakes. As you can see, on the right is my version. The icing is not dark at all. It's very light colored. But I followed the recipe, and that's how it was meant to be. On the left is the Fresh Market version. Very dark. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 layers and super dark chocolate icing with little tiny chocolate chips on it. It's very appealing looking. As you know, we will be grading these in 4 categories with a score from 1 to 5. Now 5 is practically impossible to get. I haven't had a 5 yet, but we're setting the bar high. So the first one is appearance. And as we were already discussing, the Fresh Market one is very dark. It's got a lot of layers, a lot of cake icing layers in it, a total of 6. Very good looking giant piece of cake. Mine, the cake itself is a little bit lighter. The buttercream icing, chocolate icing, is super light. I did grate up some dark chocolate and sprinkled it all over and did some piping just to try to elevate the aesthetics of this one, because this one it looks really nice. On appearance, I'm gonna give the Fresh Market a 4, and I'm gonna give mine a 3. Moving on to texture. So the texture of the cake, as we discussed before, get down. The texture on the cake, as we discussed before, is it shouldn't come out when you do that like sand. And this one's somewhere in between really loose, crummy cake, and the next layer here is like super wet and dense. The icing is soft enough. There's a lot of chocolate chips on it, which is going to give it a texture when you eat it, or it's going to give you more texture when you eat it, because you're going to be biting into the chocolate chips. On mine, the texture, look at that. The cake doesn't even come loose when you do that. It just all stays together. It's real bouncy. I'm going to go ahead and say this. I think this is my best cake I've made so far. As far as overall, the edges aren't overdone. And the cake is very moist and spongy. And I used, I put a sheet pan underneath I put the 2 cake pans on a sheet pan in the oven, and then I wrapped them in a cake ribbon. And then I wrapped the pans in a cake ribbon. That really controlled how the cake cooked. And it cooked very evenly, and there's no hard edges. It's really, really nice. So, with all that being said, the texture on this one, I'm gonna give it a 3. On mine, I'm gonna give it a 4. So now we're gonna move on to taste. So we'll get a piece right out of the middle here of the Fresh Market. Very dark. Man, there is no doubt that is a double chocolate cake. It's got a really strong cocoa dark chocolate taste to it. It's very powerful. It's just a buttercream icing. I'm gonna say that the reason their cake and their icing is darker is they just use more cocoa. And you can taste it, man. It's so forward, cocoa forward. So let's taste mine now. We're gonna get a top piece and some of the cake. Wow, that's good. The chocolate is muted just slightly. It's a lot more muted than this one is. But man, that icing is so good. It's really sweet. The cake is perfectly moist, absolutely perfectly moist, and it tastes really good. When done right, homemade is usually going to come out on top. These things are mass produced. There's a lot of chemicals and preservatives in it, and this is all natural. It's just hard to compare the two when it's done right. So on taste, I'm going to give Fresh Market a 3, and I'm going to give my cake a 4. All right. Overall cost. This cake right here was $6.99 at Fresh Market for 1 piece. With all the ingredients, I would say $7 to $10 is about what I spent on all the ingredients to make this. And I'll get 6 pieces this size off of it. So if you break that down to say $10, that's going to be roughly $2 a piece for this. So $2 versus $7. And I'm telling you right now, the end product of this is better than that one. Fresh Market is known for their bakery and their cakes, but I'm telling you, this cake right here is fantastic. So, what score am I going to give them? For the price, $7 for a piece of cake, that's like restaurant prices. And to be honest, I wouldn't feel like I got ripped off, but I feel like this is more of the bargain. So for cost, I'm going to give this a 2, and for mine, I'm going to give it a 3. All right. Well, as you know, if you've been following this channel, this is the part where I usually give Piper a taste. But if anybody out here there has a dog, you understand, she can't have chocolate. I hate it for her too, because she really wants to judge these. She's sitting down here and she's being really good, trying not to jump up. So we're just gonna have to forego her score and just go with mine. So with all that said, Homemade wins this one. All right, well that's all I got for today. Stick around next week, because we're gonna do white chocolate macadamia nut cookies from Subway. Be sure to like, tell me what your thoughts are in the comments, and be sure to subscribe so that you get notified each time we drop a new videos. New videos always drop on Saturday mornings at 6 a.m. Eastern. All right, guys, well, we thank you for coming by, and we'll see you on the next video. Tell them bye, Piper.
Bye now. We'll see you on the next video.